Welcome to the Ingleside Reviews Innovators Unveiled. We're thrilled to take you on a monthly journey into the minds behind the most cutting-edge products hitting the market today. From the coolest gadgets lighting up your Instagram feeds to groundbreaking services revolutionizing our daily lives, we're here to spotlight the innovations and, more importantly, the innovators. So gear up for an energetic and informative ride as we delve deep into the stories, the challenges, and the triumphs of the creative geniuses shaping our future. This is Ingleside Reviews Innovators Unveiled. And now your host, A.D. Edwards.
Welcome to another episode of Innovators Unveiled. The show that talks about becoming an entrepreneur, things that people had to overcome to get where they are today. And today we have with us Barry LaBov. Now, Barry, thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you, AD. It's a pleasure. I'm very honored to be one of your first guests. I think it's great. I feel I'm part of something big.
I hope that's prophetic. So let's talk about your background. I'm going to read a little bit about you so that the listeners and the viewers have a clear picture of your experience and some of the things you've done in the past. So it says here, Barry LaBov is the founder and CEO of LaBov Marketing, Communications, and Training. He is a two-time Ernst & Young Entrepreneur of the Year recipient and an inductee into the Entrepreneur of the Year Hall of Fame. He is also a Better Business Bureau Torch Awards of Ethics recipient. And under his leadership, LaBov Marketing, Communications, and Training has received the Indiana Growth 100 Award not once, not twice, but 6 times. Going on, it says here, Barry has authored and co-authored over a dozen business books, including his forthcoming The Power of Differentiation, which will be published by Indigo River and distributed through Simon & Schuster. In the book, he shares experiences and actionable recommendations for leaders seeking to differentiate their brands and products. He has also written over 100 business articles on a range of topics, including brand re-engineering, customer loyalty, employee engagement, training strategy, dealer and distributor network performance, and much more. Barry has been interviewed as a subject matter expert on CNBC, Fox Business, and several videos and podcasts. Then it goes on to say his other entrepreneurial ventures include, I believe this is L Squared Global Investments. Is that how you say that? L Squared Global Investments. Which he runs with his daughter. And he also is an investor and partner in Plow Digital, a full-service digital development and gaming firm. Barry is also an active member of the Young Presidents Organization and was a founding member and owner and president of Sycamore Hills Golf Club, which is a Jack Nicklaus signature golf club. Now, it goes on, but my question to you is, Barry, when do you eat and sleep, sir?
Well, as I'm talking to you right now, it's 5:30 at night on the West Coast, and it's 7:30 or so, whatever it is, on the East Coast. So, I have my own time zone that I work in. What I like to do, AD, is I follow my passion. And if I'm excited and I'm going, this is interesting, I got to tell you, I got to tell the whole audience, I don't step back and go, no, it's after 5 o'clock, or no, I'm a little tired. I'm going, no, let's go for it. So to me, there are no boundaries, but I also realize sometimes I'm beat and tired and I'm done. So it works both ways.
Yes. And that's something that entrepreneurs share. On a previous episode, now listen to me, we're 2 episodes in my first season. I'm saying on a previous episode. So that evidently is episode 1. The entrepreneur that we were talking with, he said that one of the things that people have to learn, sometimes people say, I want to be an entrepreneur so that I can get up when I want to, I can sleep when I want to. I don't want to punch a clock. But the thing about the entrepreneur, there is no clock. It's all the time. So you have to make the time valuable. You have to make use of the time that you have. And so I understand that.
Yeah. Well, the old joke is when you're an entrepreneur, you only have to work half days, and you can choose which 12 hours you want to work.
Exactly. So tell us a little bit about your start. We've read basically some of the things, some highlights over the years, but how did you become an entrepreneur? What did you see a void that you felt needed to be filled, or what happened?
Well, I hope this helps the listeners and viewers. I never wanted to be an entrepreneur. I never wanted to be in business. I never wanted to sell. I was a young kid, teenager. I liked music. I wanted to do creative things. I started some rock bands, did pretty well with the rock bands. I did not realize, AD, at the time that I was running a small business. A rock band is a business. And I was producing products. Those things are called songs. And I was delivering the performance with my band. That's called customer experience. So I didn't realize it. I just thought I was in a band playing cool music.
The same principles.
So what happened? Yeah, same principles. And so what happened was I got into my 20s. Long story short, I did some jingle writing, the irritating little ditties you hear on the radio. And tragedy struck my life, and that was I lost my father. He was in his early 60s, and I was late 20s at the time, and I thought, I may not live forever. And you know what? I don't have all the time in the world, so why don't I decide to focus on something instead of doing a bunch of stuff and just making it happen and hoping it comes through? So I decided to focus on my music company, but not my music band. I decided to work on business. And I thought, I may regret that, but I never looked back because I found out that it wasn't music that was my love, AD. My love was being creative, creating something that had never been in existence before. And so when I was helping marketing and advertising opportunities for clients, I was creating things that had never existed, and I loved it. And I started a little band doing it, and that was called a small business. And that little band got bigger and bigger because our audience, our clients, got bigger. So that's how it's happened. Now, fast forward about 4 decades, so it was not overnight. We now work with some of the greatest brands in the world, like Harley Davidson, like Audi and Volkswagen and Mercedes-Benz. But we work with equally great companies that a lot of people haven't heard of, like Heil Trailer and Betts Industries and Steel Dynamics and the Indianapolis Indians baseball team and Freight Car America rail cars. They may not be well known because they're in certain industries, but they're every bit as great a brand as any of the ones I mentioned that are iconic.
So you talk about marketing. Now, marketing has changed over the years. I mean, you say you've been in business doing this for over 4 decades. Today,
Right.
You have the advantages of the internet. You have digital marketing. You have social media marketing. How did you get your name out there when you first started the band? How did you get your name out there?
Well, today, yes, you're right. There's AI and there's all this technology and all the digital opportunities out there. But, has it really changed? And the reality is not entirely, because you still have to do a good job, and there's word of mouth, and there's looking at each individual client as the most important client in the world while you're working with them. So I kind of fly in the face of the mass marketing that a lot of people talk about and have visions of grandeur about, where they think, I'm going to just come up with this one thing and I'm going to market it out there and I'm just going to sit back and collect the checks and collect all the money coming in. I've never done that. And I'm sure there are great people who have. I just never did it. I did it one client at a time, worked with my employees, one employee at a time, and tried to build this thing. One other thing I'll share with the audience, I never took out a loan. So I never took out a business loan, which means I was either rich starting out and I was poor as a church mouse. My wife and I shared her salary, and she was an administrative person at an insurance company. So we were certainly not rich.
Bootstrapping it.
We bootstrapped it. And not only that, we held on to the money that we made. So I did not take a salary for 7 years. I do not recommend that to the audience, but I didn't. And we lived very poorly, but we had a great time. My wife and I helped, a lot of companies when that happened, and we did a lot of great work, and we helped a lot of employees, and it ended up helping us.
Great. So now, lots of times when individuals set on the course of entrepreneurship, there are those who mean well, Barry, and some of these people are your friends, your family, and when they see that you are bootstrapping it, they kind of say, Barry, why don't you just leave this dream alone and get a job, especially if the first business is a rock band. How did you handle that? Or I'm assuming, I don't know you well, but I'm assuming this has happened to you.
It's happened to me several times. I was bringing some of my songs to New York City with my wife, and we had 40 appointments in 1 week all set up. So we were running from one appointment to another to try to sell our songs. And the very first person we went to was a famous publisher. And I was all excited. I went to his office. It was a torn down mess of a place. I walked in. He was smoking a cigar. He had a woman there that looked like a nurse. He said, "Give me your cassette." It was back in the days, AD, of cassette tapes. I handed him my cassette, which had 4 songs on it. Now I want everybody to hear this. I'll try to move quickly, but it's a telling story. He said, okay. He told the nurse to put the tape in the machine. He listened to the first 6 or 7 seconds. He said, fast forward. So she forwarded through the song to the next song. Listened to the first 5 to 10 seconds. He said, okay, fast forward. Did it again and got to the 4th song. Listened to the first 5, 10 seconds. Fast forward. He said, okay, eject. She ejected the tape, handed it to me, and he said, son, you have no talent. Give up. And I went, oh my gosh. He said, you have no talent. Now, then he kind of said something funny. He said, I mean, maybe you could write country music, but you're never going to write rock music or pop music or R&B. Get out of here. You're washed up. Now, here's the rest of the story. So I felt so bad. I did not have to open the door to walk out. I was so tiny. I could walk under that door. Okay. So I went down to the street with my wife, and she said, gee, do you think every one of our meetings will be like that this week? And I said, look, we ought to just turn around and go back to our home in Indiana and give up. And she said, oh, come on, silly. You don't really think we're going to have 40 appointments like this? And I said, I don't know. So true story, our very next appointment, we went to Billy Joel's publishing company. I walked in, sat down. I was still very depressed. I handed the guy my cassette. He listened to the first song, said, I think it's pretty good. Next song, yeah. So anyway, he listened to them all the way through. He stopped. I stood up and said, can I have my cassette? And he goes, what is wrong with you? And I said, I just figured you're done. And he goes, I like one of your songs and I want to publish it. And I said, what? And he said, do you always respond like this? And I said, well, I just went to this publisher. I told him who it was. And I said, he told me I was useless and washed up. And he said, Barry, that guy has told that to thousands of people. He said, most of them gave up. He said, you didn't. You at least had one more appointment and you got success. Now I'm going to finish the story and we'll move on, but this is important. We had 38 more appointments, right? Not one of them was bad. Not one of them was as bad as that first guy. And not one of them was as good as the second one that gave me a job or a project, because that's the way it is in business. You don't know what meeting's going to be great or what one's bad. So you better darn well walk into that meeting and go for it.
Yes. Yes. And you can't let others skew you of what your dream is and your vision. So the rock band was the first business you started. Now you're in marketing now. When did you get into marketing? What's the transition?
Very briefly, the transition was this. I was doing music jingles for a very large company. Their leader came up to me. He saw something in me, AD. I'm not sure what he saw, but he saw something. And he was really old. I mean, he must have been 40 years old. I didn't know how much longer he had left on earth. Very old guy. At the time I was, 28, 29. And he said, I know you're doing this music production for us, but we want you to take on all of our marketing and advertising, and we'll give you a contract for 3 years that you do all that work. And as an entrepreneur in the making, I said, no, I don't think so. I don't think I should do marketing and advertising, but I'll give you the names of a lot of other companies in the area, and maybe they'll work with you. So he said, okay. Well, he came back to me time and time again until 1 year later, he called me up and he said, Barry, I want you to take over our marketing and advertising and become our agency. And I said, I've given you these other companies' names. Why do you come back to me? And he said, because we trust you.
Businesses are built on relationships.
Whoa. Right. And that's what happened. I became a full service agency that day, AD.
So let me ask this. I know you say you didn't want to become an entrepreneur.
Right.
Why did you never go back into you have the entrepreneurial side and you have the employee side? Why did you never become an employee again?
I was an employee when I was going to college. I was a UPS employee, and I actually was a union steward, a part-time union steward. So I knew what it was like to be an employee. I got into doing the business and I felt that it was more fun. I felt I had more influence on my future if I was really taking charge, as opposed to hoping I did an okay job and hoping somebody liked me and hoping the company was okay. I just don't have time for politics and things like that. So for me, it was like, okay, I want to do a good job. I want to have a few people working with me and let's go. I don't want to toy around. I'm kind of a no BS guy. Let's get going. Let's do something. And I did not feel I could do that as somebody's employee.
Yes, I hear what you mean, because oftentimes people feel that there's security in being employed by an employer, but actually there's more security in taking your life by the reins, as it were, and making your own decisions. So now I want to get into this book that you have, Differentiate. Means to draw the differences between one and another. So when it comes to business, oftentimes you may come up with a concept and it's a concept that's very similar to something that's already in existence or something that's starting just as the time you're starting. It's very rare that you come up with something that's so unique no one else does it. So talk to us about how to set yourself apart for those who are starting out and they're trying to build their own brand.
I'm not trying to start out coming up with a marketing concept that never has been in existence. What I start out doing is I look to discover what makes my client's brand or products or service unique. They're already doing it, AD. My team comes in and we discover it. And then once we discover it, we go, okay, let's name it. Let's give it a name and let's give it a story. Those of us who have children, you don't have child 1, 2, and 3. You have 3 kids with
unless you're George Foreman, but yeah, go ahead.
Right, I think he had 8 Georges, but that's another story. But that was easy for him to remember, which also was his name. But so once we determine that uniqueness, and everybody, it's not 1,000 things, it's 1, 2, or 3 things, and it's the thing. If you go to your customers and you say, hey, I'm AD. And they go, hey, AD, how are you? Hey, what's the one thing I am doing, or maybe the two things I'm doing that you do not want me to stop? What am I doing that you just don't want me to stop doing? And they'll tell you. Well, often those are differentiators to them. They're the things you're doing that others are not. So once you name them, you then celebrate them with the most important people. And that is, if you have employees, it's them. You celebrate it with them first. Get them engaged in it. Let them know how important what they're doing is. They need to feel significance. And then, yes, use it in your marketing. Share in your marketing what you're doing. Let the world know. But by the time the world knows about it, your employees are an army right behind you, ready to fight.
Yes, yes. That's what some way to refer to as shaping the culture of your company. Getting behind a common thought, a common attitude, and it becomes like gangrene. It spreads, and so that can work either bad or good. So it's important to be in front and make it work for the better. So what type of companies do you work for? Do you help rather? Do you help startups or a large companies? Can someone, we're on this platform here, can someone reach out to you and benefit from your services? And that's where I'm going with this.
Okay, anybody can benefit, because if it's not a perfect fit with my business model, I'll still help you. So email me, link in with me. I mean, people are doing that every day. So that's fine. I generally do not work with startups. We work with companies that are somewhat established. They might be in business 10, 20 years. Some have been in business over 120 to 220 years. We love to find the magic in what they're doing and bring it to the world. We like to shine a light on it. So that's what we do. And I'll tell you, here's the real bottom line for what kind of client is perfect for me. It's not their demographic, it's their psychographic, their mental approach, their mind state, which is they're hungry. They feel they're leaving something on the table. They believe in what they're doing and they don't want to diminish it. They need somebody to help them find that thing. That's what we do.
So what's your website? How do people reach you?
Website is pretty simple. I've got two for everybody. One is mine. So guess what? It's barrylabov.com. Big advantage having a strange name like Barry and also LaBov. So barrylabov.com. My company's website is labov.com. Also look for me on LinkedIn. I'm happy to do it. As a gift to my good friend, AD, anybody that listens to this show and goes to my website, barrylabov.com, you can either download a PDF for free of my book, or we'll ship it to you for shipping and handling. It's a $35 listed book. It's hardcover, and we'll ship it to you for whatever shipping and handling it is. I think it's $7.50 or something. Now, otherwise, you can go to Amazon and buy it, and if you have Prime, you get it tomorrow. But so there are different ways to look into the book. I think the book is fantastic in that it's a collection of stories of really great people. It's not my story. It's stories of really great people who learned how to identify and appreciate what made them unique and then be able to celebrate it and maximize it.
Yes. Sometimes when you look at companies that maybe in the same field, there are sometimes just small little unique things that you may notice that may draw you to one company over another. So it doesn't have to be something astronomical all the time. It could be even the way people speak to you or smile. Especially if it's a neighborhood, let's say a neighborhood restaurant or something that serve the same thing, two places. It could be the way they make you feel. And so that's good to know. Let's talk about what you have on the future. What do you got coming up? Any projects? We've
got a lot of great things coming up that we've been working on for a long time. So we're working with many different companies. I mentioned we work with a AAA baseball team. We work with some famous auto manufacturers, a famous Scotch whiskey manufacturer, lots of great companies. We're helping them do what we've talked about here, maximize what makes them unique. We work with a freight car company that builds rail cars for the railroad. We're trying to make sure their great work and their amazing people are showcased. So I feel like we're on a campaign to appreciate what people and companies do.
Excellent. Now, those who are entrepreneurs who are tuning into the show, what advice would you give them in their early stages of starting their business? They may not be able to have the resources, but they want to carve out an identity for themselves.
I have a few bits of advice. I recommend don't compromise what you create or produce. So whatever your product is, don't compromise it, because if you compromise it, it's really hard to go get another customer. So do your very best for the clients you have. And I hate to say this, but think small rather than mass marketing. Think small. Do a great job for one or two clients. Ask them, gee, who else could I help? Do you know anybody else? Ask them, what did I do that you think I really need to keep doing? Because I want to keep working with people like you. Think very one-on-one and intimately with your customers. They're the people who are going to wave the flag for you. Those are my bits of information.
I totally agree with that. There's nothing better than word of mouth advertising, because more than likely the word of mouth will come from a friend, a relative, a coworker, someone you know, and you're going to take their recommendation over some commercial or something like that. Even though those ways are effective, but someone that telling you to try a product or go check out a game, it's nothing like it. So thanks for coming on the show, Barry. You got so many things going on, man. I want to know about the golf course. I want to know about this band that you were in. It was very successful. I read about that. But we got to get you on again, because you got a lot. You got a lot, man. Like you're very intriguing. I bet you've never heard anyone refer to you as that, have you?
I appreciate it, AD. I would love to be on your 100th show celebration. So when you hit 100, you call me up and let's do that show together.
Hey, I'm gonna let you stick to your word with that one, okay?
I'm there. I'm making you do it too. You keep going at it. Don't give up.
Thank
Keep going.
you.
98% of all podcasters give up after like 8 or 9 shows. So you got to keep going, keep going, keep going.
I like the challenge. Thank you so much.
All right, AD.
All right, next time. Thanks for being on the show.
You've been listening to Ingleside Reviews, Innovators Unveiled. Our passion is to take you on a journey into the minds behind the most cutting-edge products hitting the market today. It's an honor to have on the show the creative geniuses shaping our future. We hope you've enjoyed the show. If you did, make sure to like, rate, and review. Hit our website at inglesidereviews.com. On Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok at Ingleside Reviews. And on Twitter at Ingleside Review. See you next time.